Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Chris Fink Show. It is Sunday, May 10th, 2026. And before I start this episode, I want to wish all of the wonderful moms out there a very happy Mother's Day. So, this episode is episode 8, and it's titled Ohio: Why Local Politics Matter. Also, real quick, I know this is an audio only podcast, but I'm going to be putting a lot of images on the screen today, and I'll try to remind you to take a look when I put something up there. So, that being said, let's begin. This episode is not going to deep dive into the governor's race between Democrat Dr. Amy Acton and Republican Vivek Ramaswamy. Although that race is significant for Ohioans, my goal today is to address the less talked about, less mainstream makeup of leadership throughout some of Ohio's major cities and counties. The only thing in this episode I will say about the governor race is neither Amy or Vivek represent Ohio when looking at racial demographics of the state. Amy Acton is Jewish. And if you take a quick look at your screen, you will see that as of 2024 through 2026, the Jewish population of Ohio is estimated anywhere from 151,000 to 177,000 people, representing roughly 1.3% of the state population. Vivek Ramaswamy is Indian. And if you take a quick look at your screen, you will see that as of 2025, the Indian population of Ohio is estimated around 107,307 people. This demographic has also increased by 40% since 2010. If you continue to look at your screen, you will see that the total population of Ohio today is roughly 11.9 million, and roughly 5% of the residents are foreign-born. Now, let's look at Ohio's racial demographics as of 2026. On your screen, you see the white population is 76.5% to 77.8%. Black is 12.1 to 12.9%. People claiming two or more races is around 5.7%. Latino comes in at 5.2%. And Asian is around 2.5 to 3.1%. The national average for white is roughly 60%. Ohio has a white population nearly 16 to 17% higher than the national average. So, I've addressed race in plenty of episodes, and it absolutely does matter. Race is not just skin color and eye shape. It's thousands of years of all of the unique things that make you, you. And the two frontrunners for governor don't represent 76% of the people. Therefore, they don't represent our culture, shared heritage, which made up our national identity, or our faith, and countless other things. If you say race, being all of those shared community things does not, in fact, matter at all, perhaps I have a shot at running for mayor of Nairobi, Kenya. I'm sure they'd welcome me with open arms as the great white hope for Kenya, in the same way straight ticket voting boomers welcome Vivek as Indian Thomas Jefferson. It's just fucking ridiculous when you really think about it. And that takes us to the even more ridiculous. That is the Indian spelling bee we have here in Cincinnati. Obviously, I don't mean a real spelling bee, but I'm going to make my point here. Here is a video clip from Vivek Ramaswamy addressing sanctuary cities in Ohio.
I'm so upset about the sanctuary cities, and I've never understood how all of a sudden it's a sanctuary city. How did that start? We didn't vote on it. What can we do to change it?
It's a great question. What's your name, ma'am?
Cheryl,
Cheryl. You from around here, Central Ohio?
Westerville.
So as I said, I grew up in Cincinnati. I was in Cincinnati on Friday night. And Cincinnati declared itself to be a sanctuary city. city where I grew up. So what are they saying exactly? What they're saying is, we don't care about the rule of law. That this might be illegal to cross the southern border, to sneak across, smuggle God knows what. That's okay. That's against the law. That we as a city are going to say that we condone that and we even promote it by saying that if you broke the law, we are going to actually create a special sanctuary for you, the lawbreaker. Is it an accident that over the same period that the city of Cincinnati says that we don't care about the rule of law when it comes to one set of laws, one set of federal laws, like the border laws, that they do horrible with respect to enforcing a different set of federal laws, like the federal drug laws? So what's standing? Imagine if your own government says that you can just break the law. Why would ordinary citizens say, well, if the government is sanctioning breaking the law, I guess I'm fine to do it? And it's over the same period that Cincinnati was declared a sanctuary city that you see parts of the city decline into mayhem like they are today. So it's a culture of abandoning the rule of law that's a major problem. I'm not going to stand by and watch that happen. I refuse to be an idle bystander watching the great cities of our state decline into urban crime and violent chaos. Even parts of the short north on a given night. You go to Columbus, Ohio. You go to Cleveland. Go to the inner city of Cleveland. I personally think that you should be able to go enjoy a ball game, have a nice dinner, maybe a drink with your friends, maybe go see a show, and go home without fear of being mugged or assaulted or robbed. That isn't the case today, not in the major cities of Ohio, and we're going to turn that around. We are a state of great cities. This is a great advantage of Ohio.
Now, that prompted me to post this response to him you see on your screen. Why Cincinnati has a sanctuary city problem. Electing an Indian for governor to undo the policies of an Indian mayor is comedy. And yes, that Cincinnati mayor, that Indian Cincinnati mayor I'm showing you on your screen is Indian Aftab Karma Singh Puraval. So, yeah, here's a little bit about him. First Asian American to be mayor of Cincinnati. He most recently beat J.D. Vance's half-brother Corey Bowman in November 2025 by a margin of 78% to 22%. And in March 2022, he raised the transgender flag over City Hall for the first time ever. He is son to an Indian father and a refugee mother from Tibet. His refugee mom is probably his inspiration for making Cincinnati a sanctuary city. If I had to bet, that's probably the reason why. And to add to his cringe, here's a video of a cringe-ass proclamation he made before the Cincinnati Bengals played the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium for the AFC Championship game. And oh, by the way, the Bengals lost. But here's that video.
Good afternoon, Cincinnati. I have a proclamation from the desk of the mayor. Be it proclaimed, whereas the Cincinnati Bengals are headed to Burrowhead Stadium for their second consecutive AFC Championship game. Whereas at last year's game, the Bengals scored more points than the Chiefs, resulting in a Bengals victory and a Chiefs loss. Whereas Joseph Lee Burrow, who's 3-0 against Mahomes, has been asked by officials to take a paternity test confirming whether or not he's his father. Whereas all season long, Cincinnati has been on a path of destiny, fighting it out to overcome anyone who stands between them and a Super Bowl win. And whereas Kansas City is named after its neighboring state, which is, just kind of weird. Now, therefore, I, Aftab Puraval, Mayor of the City of Cincinnati, do hereby proclaim January 29th, 2023 as They Gotta Play Us Day in Cincinnati. Thank you.
Like, fuck this guy, for real. Look at me, white man, look at me. I love football. Look at how relatable I am, white man. It's just pathetic. But this is what happens when we only focus on federal elections and not local. We were promised Trump was going to end all things this dude right here is about. It's why in past episodes I warn against selecting the next savior. Real politics and real change happens at the local level, not the federal. So, the city of Cincinnati is in Hamilton County, Ohio. Here's a quick breakdown of the racial demographics of the county. White is around 62%, black at 25%, Asian at 3%. And that takes us here. Here are the 3 female commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio. Now, I'm not going to dive into their bios too deep. I just want you to use your eyes and keep that racial demographics data in the back of your mind. They are Stephanie Summerow Dumas, Alicia Reese, and Denise Driehaus. So let's start with Stephanie. She is the first African American woman to win position of county commissioner in Ohio history. She also just recently lost her primary for this position to this woman right here I'm putting on your screen, Mika Owens. I wonder if she's related to Candace Owens. Probably not. And here are photos of Alicia and Denise. Just use your eyes. Do they represent this state or county? You be the judge. Now, let's head a little farther north to Dayton. Dayton is in Montgomery County. Shanice Turner Sloss just recently swore in as mayor of Dayton in January. Looking at her platform on your screen, it seems housing was the big thing. That seems to be the issue everywhere today, especially if you're bringing in unchecked migrants. And here on your screen are the 3 girl bosses on the Montgomery County Board of Commissioners. So that'd be 2 counties, 3 commissioners per county, 6 women so far. Judy Dodge, Carolyn Rice, and Mary A. McDonald. I guess it's just rah-rah girl bosses for Dayton, Ohio. And before I forget, Montgomery County is roughly 68% white. So let's head over to Columbus, Ohio. On your screen is Andrew Ginther. He's been mayor since 2016. It seems gun control and climate change are his 2 biggest issues according to his Wikipedia. Columbus, Ohio is in Franklin County, Ohio. I want to focus on their Board of Commissioners. Particularly this guy, John O'Grady, who was first elected to the Board of Commissioners in 2008. If you look at your screen, this image taken from the county.gov site will tell you that one of the things this dude championed was establishing the Somali Work Group in 2009. And it says here this is an ongoing collaboration among numerous county agencies, courts, and community organizations tasked with identifying the needs of Franklin County's immigrant communities and developing government response to those needs. Interesting. Even the O'Gradys are pro-Somali and shit. I wonder if he'll be on the list of those investigated for the ongoing fraud around the Somali communities. He might be a good place to start here in Ohio. And on your screen here is Kevin L. Boyce and Erica C. Crawley, the other 2 commissioners in Franklin County. And if you look at the data, Franklin County is 58% white. Again, does it look like the majority is being represented here? Here is the mayor of Akron, Shamas Iqbal Kamar Malik. I'd say he identifies more with his Pakistani side rather than his Irish side, according to his Wikipedia. He also interned at the Pentagon during law school. Very interesting, and you can go ahead and look that up. So let's head over to Youngstown. And in Youngstown, you'll find Mayor Derek McDowell, another Irishman. Not really. His claim to fame is he is the founder of Olaf Fest Youngstown. And here is Mayor Wade, not even attempting his last name, Mayor of Toledo. Another Democrat like all of the others so far. And Toledo is in Lucas County. Here are their commissioners: Lisa A. Sobecki, Pete Gergen, and Anita Lopez. It says here Lopez is the 7th child of migrant workers and first Latina female Lucas County commissioner. Again, does this look like the representation you deserve? Are these your people? And over here in Cleveland, we have the Cleveland mayor, Justin Bibb. It says here he interned for then Senator Barack Obama in 2007. And corruption just surrounds this guy. They tried to recall him, actually. They cite wasteful spending and lack of transparency as reasons to recall him. And the recall was suspended just recently, May 4th, 2026. And it says here, apparently he took a $50,000 trip to Martha's Vineyard, and he spends money to keep a presidential-like security detail around him. And strange, who did I say he interned for? Obama? Wonder who he went to Martha's Vineyard to visit. And Cuyahoga County, where you find Cleveland, is 59% white and 29% black. So everything I just explained there, all of that, is why I continue to sound the alarm about the golden rule of politics. Real politics are local politics. And the demographic replacement of white heritage Americans, the impact of that is felt at the local level. Now, it's true. Federal immigration policy opened the door. It opened the gate. But the blueprint, the way it all works, it happens at the local level. It happens at the state, the county, the city level. They get their people in. Their people get elected to office, and then they open the door to your state, to your city, and to your county to bring more of their tribe in from wherever else in the world. That's the way it works. So while you're sitting there and you're thinking about Thomas Massie, and yes, my gosh, we have to support Thomas Massie in his primary. Thomas Massie has to win. He absolutely has to. He's the only person sounding the alarm on corruption in D.C. He has to win. Everybody should support him. Everybody needs to be focused on that race. Everybody has to be. But you can't lose sight of the real politics at the local level. And Ohio, as I laid out, it's a perfect example. It is a perfect example of demographic replacement. From the governor race between Acton and Ramaswamy to all of these people I showed you at the county commissioner level, the mayor level. This is how it happens. And in your local community, like, that's where you feel it. And Washington, D.C., D.C. again, decades ago, they changed the immigration standard. They changed it decades ago, and they need to change it back. We need to have a standard. And we need the federal government. We need the federal level. We have to hold the federal level in order to make that happen. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. So we need to focus our attention to the state, city, county levels of government. We need people in charge of those positions. People closing the door to the chaos that our federal government unleashed upon the American people. That's what we need to do. So don't just look to the midterms. Don't just look to 2028. Don't sit there and think to yourself, "Oh, we're going to elect the next savior. The next Trump will come along." Remember, Trump told us, build the wall, make Mexico pay for it, send them back, bring the jobs back, law and order, tough on crime. We got none of it. They're floating around amnesty right now. And I think they're floating around the idea of amnesty partially because they want to try to gatekeep whatever non-white people voted conservative in 2024. They're hoping for those votes again. They're playing politics. So they're floating that idea. They are floating the idea for amnesty because they believe that the non-whites that are here that can vote would be in favor of having more non-whites here receive amnesty. They're playing politics with your life. And if we can't fix it at the federal level, we need to make sure that we hold our ground, the state, city, county, your local level. Because what I showed you, those people, they don't look anything. They don't look anything like when you think about like what is an American? No. Mayor Avtab? I don't think so. I don't think so. So that's why local politics matter. Don't just look to 2028 for the next savior. You have to look at your local politics, your county politics, your city politics. And I get it. The podcast that you listen to, they're not talking about little county races. They're not talking about tiny mid-major to small cities in this country. But that's where you see the change. The left wing, the communist, Marxist, Jewish, secular left wing is the wing that has been financing all of these local races. That's the wing. And while everybody right now is focused on AIPAC at the federal level, the left wing is just like, yo, fuck it. Like, we're just gonna go mayor to mayor, commissioner to commissioner, DA to DA, activist judge to activist judge. And they just kind of fly under the radar because local politics aren't sexy. It's not as sexy as like your federal politics. It's not running for president. But realistically, the big decisions that change your community, it's not coming from the Oval Office. It's coming from your state capitol. It's coming from your city hall. That's where those changes are happening. You know, we thought, oh, Trump's going to get elected and sanctuary cities are going to disappear. It hasn't happened. Why? Because the states just say no. The cities say no. They say make us. And what happens? Nothing. Nothing happens. So don't lose sight of the ball. Local politics matter. And I'm not going to say that they matter more than federal politics, but they matter just as much in their own way. Because that's where you feel the demographic replacement specifically. That's where you feel it. Local, where you live. And if you're somewhere where you're feeling that shift, it isn't because of something happening in Washington. It's because of something happening in your local city hall, your local courthouse. That's where it's happening. And we need to focus on running quality candidates, America only quality candidates, people with character, people with standards, people that can win. We need to find them at the state level, the county level, the city level. That's how we undo everything. Not sitting around waiting for 2028. Yay, we're gonna elect who? Who in 2028? Who? I mean, you can pick literally anybody, and they are not going to fix the things that I showed you from the Oval Office. They're not going to do it unless they're willing to use absolute force to make that happen. They're just not going to do it because those decisions happen at the state and local level. So don't lose sight of the ball. Don't lose sight of the ball. And thank you for tuning in. Happy Mother's Day.